guys, how are you? I hope you're well. I am well myself. My name is Wanyiha Jindut. Welcome you warmly into this space. I'm sorry that I haven't posted, by 9 o'clock this morning, my time. And yesterday was Monday. I'm just recovering from a very busy weekend. We have lots of holidays in the US and also Canada. So in North America, and people take them really seriously. So whenever the guys are around, sometimes it's a bit tricky doing something. Having said that, I really have been wanting to get back and just talk to you. I added another playlist called The Chosen One, but I'm yet to add some videos there because a lot of us need clarity in this life. And let me tell you, the thing about life is that you don't get pure clarity of who you are and what you're called for, right? But sometimes as we talk, as we share our stories, as we tell our truth, you're able to know where your case is located. Now, last time, on the altars that we were fighting, I mentioned about this, family, these altars that are in this family, and I mentioned Reuben and Judah, and even what happened to Judah afterwards. And we see that at the time Jacob was going to die, he blessed Judah, he blessed Judah so well against, against his other sons, unlike his other sons, he blessed Judah so well. And later we see, or was it before? Before we see Judah had gone through some things, even the wife he married ended up dying, his children and all of that. But when they're in Egypt, as Jacob is going to die, he blessed Judah, while he cast his other sons, Reuben. And, I keep saying that Simeon and Judah killed the people of Shechem, but it was Levi. Okay, so forgive me, and whenever I make mistakes, feel free to correct me. I know some of you guys are so good in scripture, but me, I'm learning with you guys, and the spoken word, written word, just words touch me so much. I go crazy when a word opens a door. So I'm like, wow. So yes, I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and you guys feel free also to share, because I know a lot of you have so much knowledge, as long as we keep it respectful. It's so important that we share. Now, on this issue of altars, and this is a thing I want to talk to the ladies today, even though I might just save this under the playlist of the altars that we were fighting. Okay, so in this family of Jacob, and we see how he comes into marrying his wives. He would have wanted to marry just his love, Rachel, okay? But he ended up marrying Leah, and now this begins some kind of heartbreak for Leah, okay? So he marries Leah, and she knows that she's not wanted. After the wedding night, he has a whole fiasco with the dad, and the dad, tells him, we don't, give out, our younger daughters before the older ones, okay? So he has a whole week, with this woman, and until he gets his, the wife that he wanted, okay? And the Bible says that when he got with Rachel, he just fell in love with her even more. And remember this chick, they met way before he even entered his uncle's home, So when he came into this region, he met these, shepherds at the well. And he had a chat with them, asking them if they know Laban and all of that. And they were like, here comes his, young girl, Rachel. And it's from that point on, he started working for Laban because he helped Rachel fetch the water and all of that, So they had an encounter. This was clearly the woman he wanted, But because for one reason or another, this Leah was bound to him. And let me tell you, the thing about covenant, even when you marry wrong, God honors covenant, okay? So now people, in the last, like I said, 20 years or so, people have been, so down on themselves, did I marry the right person? So that even when a marriage is right or approved by God, because of the so many different covenants that God shows, you find that a lot of people doubt their marriages because marriage is hard. It's set up to be very, very hard, and just enduring to the end is what now allows you to come to a different stage, what I call the spiritual stage, okay? So Yeah, and when you get there, it's a lot of things that you will find. Okay, so anyway, Leah, as she is getting all these babies, something tells me that she wasn't very keen on raising them, because she had to fight so much for the attention of this man. Yeah, and that is where sometimes the heartbreak comes in, and that is also where all these evil things happen. Now we see that Rachel carried some idols from the father's house, yeah, but Leah, she she got blessed by God because of because she did not have her husband's love. Yeah, the Bible says that God kept favoring her with sons. Yeah, and so she gets these 4 sons. Each, whenever she gets a child, she names her after, she gives her the child a name with a meaning. Okay, and so to say that God has seen me, God has remembered me, and such things. Yeah, until she reaches Judah, and it's like, she can no longer give birth, no more kids are coming. And then at some point, Rachel decides, because she cannot get children, it's getting very frustrating. So frustrating that at some point she tells Jacob, give me a child or I will die, And, Jacob gets so irritated and is like, do I give children or God does? And so she comes up with this clever plan, a plan that had also been, in the family. The grandmother had, told the husband, since I cannot get any children and I'm very old, why don't you lay with my maid and she will give birth for me. Okay, and so that is how we own people sometimes. Yeah, like our maids are ours, our slaves. They should do what we want them to do. Yeah, and it's been fascinating for me just observing women of all ages in my life, and just seeing how sometimes they're so stuck on something, on a decision. It doesn't matter whether it is good or wrong, they just have to have their way, and that is the spirit of control. It bothers me so much. Yeah, I fight it day and night, so that I get rid of it, because I know it is very easy to creep in, because what? Familiar spirits. Okay, they just saw on our neck, and they want to put us down and have us making the wrong decisions. So the grandmother had done that. Yeah, Isaac, the son of the grandmother, breaks the chain by praying. When Rebecca could not conceive, Isaac prayed over her womb. Okay, but now Jacob here, he has 4 women. He has 4 women in this home, so Rachel is like, take my maid, lay with her so that she can give birth for me. Seems like it's totally normal. She gets 1 kid and another. Okay, so Rachel gets 2 boys that are not actually hers. Okay, she did not believe or wait on God, or just even refer to the story of Sarah, that even after she did this, God still gave her her own child. Okay, so she's losing hope by seeing the sister get all these children for the husband. Anyway, so when Leah sees this, she also brings her maid and please lay with her. Now, you guys already know the story, but what you don't know is that this kind of decisions bring so much dysfunction in the home. Now, I'm bothered by something. In the socials, like a month ago, I was seeing this bishop's wife who would be advising women that you shouldn't worry when your husband, does this and that, or is late coming home, or, you shouldn't like follow up, like, where are you coming from? Essentially, she was encouraging adultery. Now, it may feel so sound like, oh, let the man be, just let the man have peace. And that is how you'll find yourself with a very, enduring marriage. Like, you'll find yourself 50 years into the marriage. There's something in my eye, maybe because I'm talking about the woman of God. So anyway, So this is what I want to say to you guys, yeah, because let me tell you, if these old spirits are speaking through us, because that is not what God says, okay? God says, when you're married, you have blessings, okay? Oh my God, this thing is so bothersome. So when you come together with your wife, you have blessings of a kind, okay? It may not be a child, but because we are humans, we will go and innovate our own ways, yeah? Now, I'm not saying that waiting is not hard, that waiting is easy, okay? So I've had to wait, and I know what it is like to wait, yeah? And even in this time right now, I'm waiting for something that is being contended night and day, okay? by the covenants, and I know it, like at this point, I know it. God will show me what they're doing, and how they're fighting me. But there are years that you don't even know what is contending you, but you end up so frustrated and so anxious that you make the wrong decisions. Now, while this woman, was talking about how, you should let your husband have peace and enjoy himself out there, and not attack the women who are around her. Of course, you shouldn't, but we cannot encourage adultery. You know why we cannot encourage adultery? Because you're aiding the Son of God to sin, just so you can have your own way and you can feel like you have a semblance of control. Actually, at some point, you think that you're so worthy and you're doing something that will make him happy and so gain your favor. And that is serving man, okay? And yet God has chosen this man and this woman so that when they come together, they will be blessed in a way. Now, God knew that, Leah was not loved. And so what did she do? Fill her, there's a word for it, but fill her home with children, okay? So she gets all these four boys, gets 2 more boys through her maid. And then this time, Rachel sees Reuben carrying mandrakes. Yeah, mandrakes, if you Google, are like a plant that aids in fertility, yeah, or to sweeten marriage or something. This plant looks actually like a human body. It's like a carrot with a human body. Anyway, so Rachel, asked for this mandrakes from Leah, like, can I have some of Reuben's mandrakes? And this lady is like, oh, so you steal my husband and you steal my son's mandrakes too? And she's like, I will let you have, lay with my husband tonight, okay? And so Rachel is very excited. Leah is very excited. And from there, she gets, like 3 more sons, okay? And Rachel, goes ahead after that to get Joseph. Now, Joseph is a very special child because when she gets Joseph, Jacob now starts thinking, we must leave this land, okay? But now, the problem I have with Leah, okay, is that she knew this man is not mine from the first night. I love this meme that says, Leah couldn't say, I'm not the blind, Don't mind me. Anyway, so Leah from the beginning knew that she was sleeping with the guy that the sister likes, okay? So from the beginning, she had no, let me say, a natural right to fight this woman over her husband. This is a husband that was gotten for her by the father, okay? So like, there was no pride in that. There was no, there was no joy in that even. But anyway, she was happy to get a man. She got a man and got all these babies. Why? Because God was favoring her. Because God knew she was not loved, okay? So, when God gives you a gift, right? When God gives you a gift, how much should you treasure that and work on it? Now, let us reason together. So this lady always is focused on what, she can get, like on just getting the man's affection. This man never loved her, never has loved her, even after all these children. And when she was getting these children, she was giving them names with meaning, okay? So at some point, she's like, okay, now God has established me or something, yeah? When she gets Judah. But any chance that she can get to be with this man and get his affection or attention, she does. And then she gets all these children. But in the same compound that she got all these children, Reuben ended up sleeping with the, with the father's concubine, okay? Where was the mother? Do you know why this bothers me so much? Because a lot of women are not taking charge. They want to just make the man happy, not understanding that the way you're called is the way this man is called, and he has to perform his duties. Now, we see a very blessed man in Jacob who ended up being so bitter that when he's going to die, he curses his children. Because all these things were happening as he's watching, as Leah is watching. So I don't get how, Leah would watch this happen. And maybe she was like, yeah, let him have it, because he doesn't love me, And so now my children will show him, okay? They will sleep with the concubines he likes so much or spends time with. In the first place, Jacob should not even be with concubines. He should not, have all these women such that the children are even tempted, because now he has grown sons. Now, when we don't take care of our children, because they're the gifts that God has given us, what ends up happening? They grow and they form all these ideals, and it's like we cannot reach them. They end up sinning so much against God. And let me tell you, sometimes God is like, okay, I'll bless you anyway because I started. But you know what happens? These children will have to suffer in the future because of your choices. Because you didn't care enough. It's like you chose yourself over them. Now, let's say Reuben was a grown man, maybe he wasn't listening. Let's say Simon and Levi were so entitled that when their sister got raped, they went and killed a whole village, yeah? Not immediately. We know the story where, this man raped the daughter of Leah, the lastborn, should have been at the mother's cut, she should have been able, to be close to the mom, right? But anyway, this is not to judge her. But this is how, sometimes we are so focused on something else, on what somebody else has, and let me tell you, this will not be avoided when we are in a home together, mixed up like that, in a way that we have to compete for love. Now, this man becomes somebody who becomes like a god. We are fighting over him. We are competing, okay? Now, this lady has a daughter, okay? And she goes away and gets raped. When she comes back, Jacob knows that he's raped. She has been raped, and the men of the village, the man who raped her, comes and asks for her hand in marriage, okay? And so Jacob is not able to do anything because he has grown sons and they must determine what happens, okay? So when they come, they trick the men of the village who came to ask for her hand in marriage, and they ask them to be circumcised because they cannot marry the sister. It would be an insult if the sister married somebody who is uncircumcised. Okay, and so on the third day, before the men are healed, Simon and Levi go and kill all the men in that village. And when the brothers come home and they find out what is happening, they go and loot, and they take the children and the women, and everything else, livestock and everything else. Okay, and so we see the men of Israel now, as they come, as they practice their, manhood, they're just so wild, okay? And the father is watching them like, what are you guys doing? Why are you spilling blood? And again, the people of this land, on the land, they are so much more powerful than us. We are such a small family. So we must again now start moving. And God guides in that moving. He tells him, go back, to Bethel, okay? And so Jacob now has to tell them, put away all your idols, and they bring all the idols, and he buries these idols, yeah? But what am I saying? All this could have been prevented, okay? Now, a lot of times we find ourselves in stations where we do not have the thing that we want, okay? Perhaps what you're looking for is money, and instead of just waiting for God's time to bless you, if indeed that is the blessing that he wants you to have, you go away and just mess up, okay? Now, I've told you about my mess ups whenever I was going away just to look for money, because I'm like, how will we support our family? How can we grow if I don't work like crazy? I've heard that Kikuyu women are so hardworking. I've heard that, not considering what is my calling, what does God want for me? Because unless we seek his kingdom, nothing else we seek can we get. Yeah, we seek all these things in vain. What does James 4:6 say? Where do even quarrels come among you? It's because we want, but we want, but we do not have. Yeah, and whenever we ask for our own selfish ambition or our own selfish gain. Yeah, and so we see this woman, her kids, end up being cast when the dad is dying instead of a good goodbye. Yeah, we see this man Jacob, despite being a blessed man, despite God overlooking a lot of his mistakes, such that when whatever he did in life, God would still tell him, I will still bless you, I'll still bless you. He has tricked his brother. He's on his way to, what was the place? Padharan or something like that. He lays on an altar made by his grandfather. God says, I'll still bless you. Now, I know a bit of that, yeah, where I told you my husband had lived well in these places, and I would go somewhere and just we find blessings, yeah, or we find, something that he started and we get it easily because he went there before us, okay? Now, us coming along, it's like we have to fight, you know, a different kind of battle, or establish some godliness in these places, or destroy, you know, some of the, you know, evil altars that were speaking against us, or whatever. And maybe doing, you know, talking in bias, yeah, like trying to defend myself, okay? But there was a lot of things that I did see and experience, and just realize that, you know, unless I learned and see and also let go, there's no way I'll be able to, you know, I in hindsight, I didn't know anything, you know, until I reached this place, and I'm like, okay, so this is what God was doing all along. Yeah, all I'm saying is, because we do not look at what God has given us as a blessing and just nurture it and grow it and just, you know, bring it to, you know, another level of blessedness, we forget that we have a role to play, even as moms. Like, we can't get all these kids and expect that somebody else will take care of them. We see this man, whichever woman he would, you know, would be brought, he would sleep with them and get more children. Yeah, children are heritage, children are a blessing. But still, we see that at the end of his life, despite being the blessed person, he ended up cursing his children. And let me tell you, you may think this is a very small thing, but let me tell you, for 400 years, until Moses came to rescue these people, the clan of Reuben stayed under a curse, okay? I don't know what you're seeing in your family, but a lot of patterns repeat, and some people may know about it, you know, so you're like, the family will talk about it like there's something wrong in this family, and nobody knows even how to get, you know, over it. Some things you can't even pray for yourself. You'll need another altar to be raised for you to be able to fight for these things. But, you know, now that we are talking about these things, would you just seek the kingdom? Okay, and now that we know already, a lot of us are in this you know, problems, knee deep in all these altars. These have been fighting us, making sure that in every generation there's somebody who makes a mistake, so that they never get out of this you know, problem that was started a long time ago. So familiar spirits will be so keen that you repeat the same mistakes that were done in the family, so it looks messy, it stays messy, you suffer in poverty. And let me tell you, sometimes you see somebody in the family has broken through, and you're thinking by reaching them you'll be able to break through, but unless these altars are broken, even that person will fall. Don't I say that many times? Yeah, because I've tested it. Let me tell you, there's this one uncle we used to always go to for all our problems. Like, oh, we need jobs, that's the uncle. We need to borrow money, that's the uncle. You have a business idea, that's the uncle you go to visit. And let me tell you, I was so ashamed when I learned later that this uncle had suffered so much. Like, all his hair used to be white, you know, until one time he got a breakthrough and he established a business. I would work in that business later, because I went looking for a job and he was like, you know, I considered this and I'm going to hire you. I used to earn $20. Listen, this was just a business like any other. These people were hustling. Telling you, these rich uncles that we see are actually just working, you know, like they had a breakthrough now. But because you know that they have, my uncle has a shop in town, we all want a piece of that, you know. But your gift is your gift, and God, of course, will aid you. God will speak to someone to come and help, you know. Even that uncle sometimes will approach and be helped, yeah, but you don't even know where you're squeezing, you know. It could be a very dangerous place. Now, I'm not saying that so that you know, like families should not help each other or something, but let me tell you, we need to break these altars, guys. We need to break these altars. It's all upon all of us, okay? Once you know the secrets, once you know what is disturbing your peace and disturbing your family, something needs to change. You need to stand and fight all these things, and also avoid the mistakes you're doing, okay? Today, there could be somebody just entering a place right now to sin, okay? To sin in a way that it will be so hard to reverse that mistake, okay? Before you do all of that, and we are doing it even in church, you know, we have all this you know, issues. We have all these plans, you know, to just dominate even for a few seconds, yeah? And it's just crazy. You know, today I was talking to my husband and he was telling me it's one thing when a man sees something done outrightly, But as long as he's thinking that things are all nice and innocent, you know, and somebody's taking responsibility of whatever action they decide, men do not see the subtle signs, yeah? And it was so fascinating for me to think. And he was telling me that as long as men are, you know, share a common thought, like when they're together, hanging together, they have all these beliefs that some are very, you know, like age beliefs, yeah? And they're thinking, this is the way to think, this is the way to roll, this is what you expect even of your family and of your wife. If they stay believing those things and none of them is strong enough to break that chain, men can end up making so many mistakes, even in at the family level, you know. So they will end up doing the same things just because they believe as long as we are together like this, we are so strong, we are strong enough to just agree on a thing. And we see this thing with Simon and Levi. They decided we'll kill these people. They didn't care that this sister, you know, was spoken for. They didn't care. They didn't care that these people, you know, they could have an intermarriage. They just thought of how, you know, their ego is bruised. Like, how could you, you know, how could you rape our sister? And again, I take this mistake back to the mother. Like, where were you when this was happening, you know? Because it is not only this child who went into sexual sin and violation. There was this Reuben sleeping with the father's concubine, and let me tell you, that is a violation. Because how is this happening? You know, why is this happening? How does this child not know that this is wrong? And you know, like, it should never happen, because it will keep repeating. It is a sexual sin. Some of these sexual sins are introduced in the family this way, by a child seeing, you know, like the parent doing a crazy thing, you know. You know, that's not mom, you know, that's not dad. And you see this happening in the family and you're like, you know, so what? The child is watching, and this thing will get established as it gets, you know, repeated, yeah? Until somebody who doesn't even have a clue, somebody who is not even yet born, comes and has now to break this chain. It is just so crazy. But as God settles so many families and ushers us into a breakthrough, let me tell you, even the generations that we are saying are blessed, you know, like the 5th generation, some are already captured, yeah? And you know, the devil aims to use what is, you know, like all these early pregnancies, all this, you know, single parenthood, single parent homes, and there's a girl somewhere saying, you know, I don't care, I will raise my child, and all this. But, you know, unless now God comes in and just turns it all around, so that there may be godly children, and godly children are children who are of the righteous, yeah, raised in the right way, raised with so much support by both a sane mom and dad. Our families will keep getting so lost, so corrupted, yeah? And I know some things have to be straightened out. God has promised to go ahead of us, but we have to do our part. We have to speak to our children. We have to tell them the truth, okay? And we have also to stop leaning so hard on them that they have to, you know, like they're lost, you know, they don't even know what to do but to save mom. That has to stop at some point, okay? So anyway, I'll see you on the next one. I know this is all over the place, but yeah, we keep moving, okay? Until progress, not perfection, okay? See you. Bye-bye.